The elite of Thundersport come to Oulton Park for round 5 of the series. Can Championship leader Phil Crowe hold off his contenders, and can James Shaw keep climbing to the top of the 600 Championship? Steve Day, our commentator, is in pit lane.
Thanks very much, Grace. Yeah, we're here in pit lane at the moment. A bit of rain overnight means that we've got a bit of a wet circuit, but, well, who knows what's going to happen. A few grey clouds. I've just grabbed Superstock 600 contender Sam Thompson down in pit lane. Sam, a fabulous start to the season for you at Brands Hatch. You've been consolidating the points, consistency the key. What are your thoughts this weekend?
Well, I mean, hopefully we can, keep it the same as Brands, improve on the last few rounds, but haven't gone so well lately. But hopefully this weekend we can do a little bit better. Qualifying wasn't the best, but just try and get a good first lap and see what we can do.
And are you a fan of Oulton Park?
Yeah, love the track. Haven't had much luck here, but love the track. Such a natural flowing track. But yeah, really nice. Like it.
And in terms of your contenders, who are you looking out for? I'm sure Sam Cox is one rider that you've got to keep an eye on. There are a few riders here that maybe don't feature in the championship, but are you hoping for dry, wet?
It is what it is, But yeah, going back to the riders, Sam Cox is a big part of it. Keep our eye on him. James Shaw as well, he's a big contender. There's a few others. Chris Hellewell's coming along pretty quickly. Like you say, there's a few other people here that aren't in the championship, but are going to do well. Take some points.
All right, well, the best of luck to you, Sam. It's time to get down onto the grid, ready for race 1. Yes, and race 1 is the Bike Insurer Thundersport GP1, the big bike category for power bikes, super bikes, whatever you fancy, Superstock Thousands. And there's a Superstock 1000 on pole position. Local rider, number 123, Danny Murphy. What a weekend he's having. He's got some 30 or 40 friends, family, sponsors coming over to watch him race here this weekend. You can see a few spits of rain. Jenny Tinmouth there, second on the grid. The Ram, John Ingram, back from the TT. Back here to try and get himself some more points and fight it out with this man in the championship, number 71, Phil Crowe, the championship leader. Had a fantastic Cadwell Park, cleaned up. How will he get on here today at Oulton? Such a great list of riders on this grid. Keep an eye out for the likes of Kyle Wilkes. We've got Dean Ellison, who'll be starting from the back of the grid. Dean is out there racing. Matt Late is out there. Josh Daly, we welcome back, although he's out there on a 600. Angelo DeRosa, Jody Lees, Ian Mackman. And so a number of riders to look out for, but it's a good start from Jenny Tinmouth, number 20. Jenny just on, it's the first meeting back since Knock Hill. And so Jenny looking for some decent results here. She's got herself ahead of Danny Murphy. Danny, of course, on the Superstock 1000 machine, so he will be down on power, but through the twisty sections, he can make up a point or two. A second or two, should I say. Kingsley Ruddy and Barry Teasdale, two Superstock 1000 runners, worth keeping an eye on also. They did very well at Cadwell Park. John Ingram there's just up ahead of Phil Crowe, third and fourth. Number 171 is Jody Lees. Angelo DeRosa is 157. Matt Lake, rider looking out for, is number 100. And as they exit Shell Oils, there you can see John Waghorn. And 157 there is Angelo DeRosa. John Waghorn, who started the season off very well, maybe not getting on quite as well as he'd like to here at Oulton Park. A tough circuit to get to grips with. So a few moves being put on there. Ian Mackman, incidentally, number 80, is out there on the Honda 1000 Fireblade. And that Honda, number 80, well, he's riding the bike that Adam Boyle raced on this time last year. Adam, who sadly, the day after the Oulton Park event here at Thundersport GB in 2012, the day after he tragically got killed in a road accident. And there is a race in his memory, the Adam Boyle Trophy, taking place at Oulton Park. You'll be able to catch that one on Motorz TV. Also, look out for Thundersport Plus. So at the front of this one at the moment, we've got the Superbike of Jenny Tinmouth versus the Superstock 1000 of Danny Murphy. Both riders will consider this as their home circuit, and so will third place man John Ingram. Jenny, of course, from Ellesmere Port, and Danny Murphy from Rochdale. So they'll both be wanting to get their hands on the winner's trophy. Further back there, just saw Joe Farragut having a good run out. Dean Ellison is climbing through the grid, number 41. You can see there is Colin Thompson on the Honda, but at the front it's still Jenny Tinmouth, but she's coming under some more pressure now from Danny Murphy, who's looking to go around the outside. which would give him the inside line into Shell Oils, going down the outside at Island Bend. Oof, blimey. The quickest part of the circuit, the exit Shell Oils up towards Falston chicane. Crow has got ahead of Ingram, and Kyle Wilkes is also in the mix. There's Barry Teasdale. I've got to say, Barry Teasdale, one of the most improved riders of this season. He is the reigning pre-national 600 champion, a complete rookie to motorcycle racing at the start of last season. He's jumped on 1,000 this year. Round by round, he's just moving himself closer and closer to these guys at the front. And he deserves a lot of credit because he's a quick rider. Further back there is number 169, Sam Boyers. Number 97 is Richie Connell. Richie's out there on his 600. And there's Stu Hall, number 17. Stu Hall from Wakefield. Nice to have him out there. He was battling at the front of these GP1 races a few years back. But Jenny Tinmouth now has managed to break away. She's using her experience and the power of that Honda to her advantage. She just breaks away slightly from Danny Murphy. Then it's Phil Crow and John Ingram. Now, these guys have got 2 races. The first of the races, this one that you're watching, is double points. The second race isn't. So this one, you could argue, a little more important than the second one. They're all important, but when there's double points on offer, you want to get yourself ahead of the championship leader, and that's exactly what John Ingram has done there. So number 56, John Ingram, back from the TT, a successful TT by all accounts, doing well. There's Matt Late, number 100, Matt from Norwich, on the Close Brothers Racing Suzuki. Nice to see Matt in the paddock. And Phil and John really embroiled in a fantastic battle. You've got to say that at the start of the season, if you were to pick 2 riders that might fight it out for the championship, you'd probably pick Phil and John Ingram. The pair of them, however, have got to be a bit careful how many points they allow Jenny Tinmouth and Danny Murphy to collect over the next few rounds, because they are closing in. And Jenny Tinmouth particularly, if she can pick up 50 points here, she'd move up, what, 2 or 3 places in the championship, and that's a great move there from John Ingram. Oh, he went to go up the inside of Phil Crow. He outbraked Phil Crow, and he outbraked himself. He's had to use the runoff and go straight on. He will rejoin just behind Crow. As further back we see there Angelo De Rosa, Matt Late, and number 19, Blake Walls, all fighting it out for the remaining points. And then just behind Joe Farringer, Jody Lees, who's fought out for the 600 championship with Thundersport a few years back. Tinmouth, really, this is the best we've seen Jenny Tinmouth. This would not be the first Thundersport GB race that she's won, though. Right at the very start, as we see the last lap flag, the very start of Thundersport, she was out there on a 600 when Gary May was dominating the championship. Jenny turned up at Brands Hatch and stuck it to him. And it's a race that will live long in the memory, because there weren't many people that season that were beating Gary May. It was only Jenny and Rob Hoyles that could get their nose in front. But here she is, 5 years later, and she's going to get herself the first GP1 victory here at Oulton Park. And she will be delighted. She thoroughly deserves it. She's not had much luck with Thundersport so far this year. She was doing very well at Donington, and then she crashed. She was unfortunate at Donington Park. But things are just starting to come together, and she is an amazing talent. This grid, well, we've got 40-odd riders out there in the field, and all the way down to 25th and 26th, you've got club race winners and championship winners of the past. So really good effort here from Jenny. She leads overall. Danny Murphy is a good second place. He'll still win the Superstock 1000 race if he finishes here, and that will please him. It'll please the sponsors. Battle for third place continues between Ingram and Crow, although Ingram looks like he's just got the advantage at the moment. Just saw there, Joe Farragher's got a bit of work to do till the end of this race to try and hold on to 11th place. And just a bit further back, we'll be able to... So, well, we've lost a couple of riders. Stu Hall and John Waghorn have gone missing. John Waghorn losing crucial points, so Waghorn's gone missing, but Jenny Tinmouth exits Lodge Corner over Deers Leap. What a fine win that is for Jenny Tinmouth, back to winning ways. And what a fine effort that is, a 140.7 for Jenny. We're not exactly in perfect conditions either. There's a few damp patches out on the circuit. Danny Murphy takes second, wins the Superstock Cup. John Ingram third, ahead of Phil Crow. Kyle Wilkes takes 5th place, but had a bit of a lonely race. He finished a couple of seconds ahead of Kieran Hankin. And then Kingsley Ruddy finished 7th ahead of Barry Teasdale, Ian Mackman and Jody Lees. So on the GP1 podium then, Jenny Tinmouth victorious ahead of John Ingram and Phil Crowe. In the Super Stocks, it's Danny Murphy finishing ahead of Kyle Wilkes and Kieran Hankin.
First position in the Super Stock Thousands, Danny Murphy. It was a close race between you and Jenny at the start, but she pulled away from you there, but still a first in your class.
Yeah, it was a good race. Jenny got a good start, so did I. Stuck with her for the first few laps, but then she just kept the pace up, so she rode great. I'll try and get her in the next race.
It has to be said though, you're on a super stock bike, whereas Jenny can tune her bike. So, and you qualified ahead of all the riders on the grid, so you're definitely on form this weekend. You like it at Oulton?
Yeah, well, we were fortunate enough to have a track day on Wednesday. There wasn't much track space, but it helped us to get a good setup. So yeah, try and improve a little bit in the next one, try and keep the pace up and maybe have a battle.
Well done. Any sponsors to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone for coming down. We've got a lot of people coming because it's the local round. We've got Mark from Long Controls and Hurst Property Management, Richard from Airvane Compressors, Brinteg, Dave Bostock from Mac Tools. I'd like to thank my mum for doing all the catering, my dad and Graham, Lisa from Day and Easy and getting the RIs and that. So yeah, thanks to everyone.
And first position in the GP1s goes to Jenny Tinmouth. Your first win, you must be ecstatic with that.
Yeah, over the moon. It was a really good race, enjoyed it. Yeah, chuffed to win it.
And you battled with Danny at Cadwell. He seems to be someone that you're competing with quite a lot. Do you think you'll be able to get him again in the next race?
Yeah, I'll try to. He's going well, isn't he? He's flying. Obviously, he was on pole, so yeah, hopefully we'll have a good race.
Any sponsors to thank?
Yeah, Manx Glass and Glazing, my mechanic Steve, everyone that's donated on raceforjenny.com, Peter Holland, Sherry Helmets, So Clean, Majestic Engineering, and Steve from Planet 2D.
Well done on your end, Jenny.
Yes, well done indeed to Jenny Tinmouth. Join us again after the break and we'll bring you action from the Van Insura 600 Sportsman Elite. Welcome back to Thundersport Elite. Next up, the Van Insura 600 Sportsman Elite. And on pole position, we welcome back Craig Neve on the Honda on the Formula 600. Second place, and another welcome back to Curtis Wright, a regular with Thundersport, battling for 125 GP championships in the past. Another welcome back on the front row also for 101, Andy Lawson, and Dale Thomas comes in to join us also. So few familiar names, but not necessarily familiar this season on the front row. Riders to look out for, we spoke to Sam Thompson at the top of the show, number 50 on the Kawasaki Superstock. He's 11th on the grid. Sam Cox 15th on the grid, number 54. And we've also got Ryan Dixon, number 69, 13th on the grid. Into turn one, it's the Scotsman Andy Lawson that has the advantage. Double championship winner with Thundersport, of course. He won the Mini Twins in his first season and he won the Thundersport 500s the year after. We mentioned James Shaw, and Grace touched on this at the very start of the show. James Shaw, well, he got himself a noise infringement penalty in qualifying. Now, I've actually seen riders been excluded for stuff like that before. He took a 12th place grid penalty, so he's starting way back in 19th. But keep an eye out for him, number 4, rider from Manchester. It's his home circuit. He could go well. Just saw a quick glimpse of the bright yellow and black machine of Chris Halliwell, who's doing pretty well. But the championship leader overall, Daniel Freer, there he is in second place, third place, behind his brother. There he is, number 66, on the Yamaha R6, championship leader. His brother, Graham Freer, who was at Cadwell Park, is back with us again. He's just behind the Scotsman Andy Lawson. The orange, white and blue leathers there, Sam Cox trying to make progress, but it's Lawson that leads from Graham Freer. Number 14, Craig Neve, moves ahead of Dan Freer, and then it's Curtis Wright. Nice to have Curtis back out there with us after a bit of a spell out from Stony Stanton on the Stanton Garage Triumph. And Curtis, on his day, as quick as anyone, and he's out there on the Standards Triumph, the Super Stock 675. Lee Williams is out there as well, number 94, of course, former Supermoto rider, raced in pre-National 600s last year. But this is a nice lead that Andy Lawson is building himself up with out front. Good effort by him. In fact, just as I say that, I look at the time screens and I spot 10-second jump start penalty for the Scotsman Andy Lawson. How's your luck? So Andy Lawson, you're looking at him at the moment on circuit. He is your race leader, but he's going to fall way back as we just see Richie McNeil going around the outside, using that white line, the slippery white line. Richie, who was excellent at Snetterton, he was on the podium a few times at Cadwell, missed the opening couple of rounds, made a mistake at Donington, but he's fourth in the championship. Keep an eye out for Richie, number 22, the Irishman. So Andy Lawson, he won't know that, but he is at the moment not in first place. That means that Craig Neve there, number 14, leads overall. And, well, such a shame for him. These conditions at the moment far from perfect, and if you're on a superstock bike, you should be quite happy because the Formula 600 are not able to use all of their available power, and Sam Cox is making decent progress, as is Richie Connell. You see there Chris Halliwell, and that's James Shaw going up the inside of Halliwell and Sam Cox. So from 19th on the grid, James Shaw flying through the pack. Lawson it is that leads on circuit, but he's actually down in about 9th or 10th, and further back than that actually. So not good news for him. There is your overall Sportsman Elite Championship leader, Dan Freer, just taking it easy at the moment. Can't afford any mistakes. This, just like the GP1's first race, is a double points. Second race is your normal 25, 20, 16 points format. So Dan Freer will know that he can't really afford to take a DNF in this race, and he won't mind that both Andy Lawson and Craig Neve are at the front, because they don't feature heavily overall in the championship, although if they were to attend every round from here until the end of the season, then we might have a different story by the time we get to Donington in October. Up the inside of Lawson, there goes Craig Neve. Of course, Craig, he won't know that Andy Lawson's got that penalty. There's a bit of progress there for Sam Thompson. We spoke to him at the start of the show, number 50 from Bournemouth on the Kawasaki. A number of riders that racing this season without much sponsorship, and another one of those is Dale Thomas from Caerphilly on the DT Racing Kawasaki. Dale, who's been at a couple of Thundersport rounds, so it's a pretty good effort from him. But here we go then, into the hairpin. Craig Neve it is that leads. Craig, who's been competing at a few of the British rounds. Andy Lawson here, who tends to pick and choose rounds depending on what's going on. And I understand he won't be going to Rockingham, so maybe he'll be back for another round later on in the season. But at the moment, he's outside the top 10, courtesy of that 10-second penalty. That there is number 94, Lee Williams. Lee, who's changed bikes. He's now on the Suzuki 600. As opposed to the Honda that he was on before. So Lee, slightly different coloured machine than what you're used to. Richie McNeil trying to get himself into the battle. Number 13 also, Matthew Waldron having a good go. But on the exit of Druids and under the Warwick Bridge we go, and Neve is stretching out his advantage now. Lawson in second place on circuit, but outside the top 10 overall. What this means at the moment is that Curtis Wright actually is promoted to second place, and he would take the Superstock 600 win. Sam Cox is making some good progress, I've got to say. He really is. He started off gingerly, shall we say, but he's making decent progress. He's going along there. And look, he and Sam Thompson, in fact, Cox thought about going around the outside, and Thompson then into Old Hall Corner. And the pair of them are about to mount a challenge on Richie McNeil. There's Neve, he's your race leader. Lawson, 10-second penalty, third place on the PRF Suzuki is Lee Williams. And you see Graham Freer there, just trying to get himself some decent points. He was up there fighting for wins along with his brother at Cadwell Park. Dan Freer has gone missing. Where has Dan Freer gone? I can't see him. The championship leader overall is not on circuit, and that's a bit of a worry in the double points race. So there's an opportunity that's opened up here. So Graham is the only Freer that might just finish this race. There is Sam Cox, he's got himself ahead of Sam Thompson. The pair of them, I was about to say, they need to work together to get through to second or third, and there's a rider down, and that is Matthew Jones, the Welshman. And Colwyn Bay on the Fireball Racing Kawasaki, he's gone down, he's up, he's walking away. You can see the sun is coming out from the shadows. There's a few dry patches, far from perfect conditions, but it has been almost a perfect race so far from Craig Neve, who goes over Deers Leap and is faced with the last lap flag. He's got a nice, healthy advantage here, Craig. He's actually 10th in the championship, courtesy of his decent results back at Cadwell Park. And, well, he's about to pick up another 50 here. If he can take it to the line, that will lift him probably up into the top 5 or 6 of the championship here, just in one hit. So there he goes, into Island Bend. Fast left-hander here at Oulton Park. I would just like to send some regards out to a 600 rider of ours who had a nasty crash into Island Bend. Best regards to Nick Matthews, hope you get well soon. Massive crash here and testing. There is Andy Lawson, 101. He will not be a happy Scotsman when he arrives back in pit lane and finds out that, you know what, you haven't got a trophy, Andy. In fact, you're not even going to get a top 10 finish overall because of that job start. Curtis Wright, is that Curtis Wright has got past Andy Lawson out of nowhere and is closing down onto the back of Craig Neve. This is impressive, and Neve will have no idea of his whereabouts. So I have to apologise to Curtis because even I didn't see that one coming. The numbers on his triumph are quite small, but look at this, he's having a right go, and Curtis on a Superstock bike, he might just lose out in terms of power. But they're coming out of Druids, under the Warwick Bridge and down into Lodge Corner, and Curtis Wright, well, Neve knows he's there because Neve's taking the defensive line, and Curtis is going to have to try and get on the power a bit earlier. It's not going to happen for him, but it's a, well, wouldn't have minded a couple more laps of this. Across the line, mate, go down, he's close. Really close, and Craig Neve pushed all the way. Good effort, Curtis Wright, he wins the Superstocks. Lawson finishes third on circuit, he doesn't get it. Sam Cox, great result for Sam. That means he's third overall, second in class, ahead of Sam Thompson, who we spoke to at the top of the show. Another great effort from Sam. Look how many Formula 600 tuned bikes they've got themselves ahead of. And it just shows when the conditions get rough, some of these riders, great efforts there. Lee Williams finishes 5th, but is crucially 2nd in the Formula 600 class and picks up some big points because Daniel Freer didn't finish overall, and Richie McNeil takes 3rd in the Formula 600. And in the Superstock 600s, it's Curtis Wright with the win ahead of Sam Cox and Sam Thompson.
First place in the Superstock 600, Curtis Wright. Your first win on a 600 here, but you had tough competition, especially towards the end of the race. Sam Cox was definitely closing on you.
Yeah, well, the conditions were really difficult out there, and it wasn't either dry or wet, so we went out with a wet front and dry rear, and it turned out to be the right choice. But there was a bit of oil down at some of the corners, so you just lost a bit of time there, but I'm really pleased with it.
Other than the conditions, do you like it at Oulton Park?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, yesterday qualifying was the best I've ever done qualifying. I struggled to qualify all year round, and all last year. This year we put in a good qualifying and went over 2 seconds quicker than we did last year on the old bike, so but new bikes are doing well.
I hope to see you back on the podium for the next race. Any sponsors to thank?
Yeah, loads. Triumph Motorcycles, Arrow Special Parts, Castrol Lubricants, Pro Skins, and Stanton Service Station. I'm sure there's some others, but yeah, thank you very much.
Well done.
Cheers.
And first position overall goes to Craig Neve. Another win for you there. You won at Cadwell as well, so you must be chuffed with that. But you had a meeting in the race with Andy Lawson, I saw.
See Andy was there fast from the start. I just knew I had to. I knew Curtis had got a dry rear tyre in, so I just knew I had to pin it straight away on the wets before it dried out. And he eventually caught us at the end, but we was lucky enough just to hold on to it.
Definitely, it was a good race. Any sponsors to thank?
Yeah, loads of lads. Pete Dalton, Silclean Oils, Shacky and Paul at Limbrook, Dave Mack at Colmac, Glyn Andy and Butch.
Well done, Craig.
Yes, well done, Craig. Well, we're going to take a quick break. 2 races gone, 2 still to go. Join us again in a few minutes. Welcome back to Oulton Park. A few clouds still in the sky, but the good news is the sun is out, and Danny Murphy is on pole, looking to win the Superstock 1000 race once again. But of course this is GP1, and Jenny Tinmouth, fresh from that race victory, she'll be full of confidence, she'll be looking for another win as well. John Ingram, this of course not a double points race this time, but Ingram will want himself on the podium, and Phil Crow, number 71, despite the dominance at Cadwell Park, he needs to pick up some more points here. Further back, you can see on the second row there, far side, is Ian Mackman. Ian, who won the 1000 Superstock Championship with Thundersport GB in 2011. He is definitely one to look out for. Kyle Wilkes also. Away they go from the line. Here's GP1s and Superstock 1000 into turn one. It's Tinmouth that has the advantage. That was Barry Teasdale, second into turn one. My word, Barry Teasdale started 10th on the grid. How on earth does that happen? Tinmouth it is that leads down into Cascades. Teasdale second, third place for Danny Murphy, fourth for Kyle Wilkes. There is John Waghorn. Nice to see that he's back on the bike after that fall in race one. There's Phil Crow just ahead of Kingsley Ruddy. Then Ian Mackman and John Ingram. So Ingram's got a terrible start. Then a couple of Kawasaki's, one of those being Angelo De Rosa and Jody Lees as well. So out of Shell Oils, and Jenny Tinmouth means business. She's trying to open up a gap already as she exits. A bit of a wobble on the exit from Shell Oils from Blake Walls further back. Look how many riders are in this pack here. 36 of these riders all looking for decent results, but at the moment down into Hizzies it is Jenny Tinmouth that leads, Teasdale second, Danny Murphy in third, and Murphy looks desperate to get by Teasdale already, and he's got Kyle Wilkes for company, number 23 there. Kyle, who spent a decent season last year on a 600, fighting away and getting some decent results at Thundersport GB and in BSB this year. He's learning on the 1000 Kawasaki, and he's taken a few knocks in confidence, but he's looking strong here. 20, Jenny Tinmouth, there she is, from Ellesmere Port. Two-wheel workshop Honda, going really, really well. Danny Murphy now into second place. By the time he got past Barry Teasdale, he's able to make up a place or two, and Kyle Wilkes now goes up the inside of Teasdale also. In fact, the reason why Barry Teasdale looked so good off the start is I've just been informed that both he and Joe Farrier, number 88, received 10-second jump start penalties. So Barry, in fact, will be further down than we're seeing him at the moment, but that was the reason why he got such a good start. Nevertheless, it is Tinmouth and Murphy, just like race one. Wilkes in third, Teasdale fourth on circuit, then Kingsley Ruddy. Kingsley really impressing us this season so far on the Superstock bike, and he's got his nose ahead at the moment of Phil Crow and John Ingram. So here they go, exiting Shell Oils. Ingram and Crow side by side ahead of Mackman. In fact, Ingram and Crow, well, they're two names that we'll see at Rockingham. And pit your talent against Butch Crow and the Sundance Ram. That's the headline from Rockingham. The 3-lap oval cycle race at Rockingham's coming up. It's a charity race, £5 to enter, I understand. Crow will be getting a handicap against Ingram at Rockingham, and it's all in aid of Macmillan Cancer Care. So those of you that are heading to Rockingham, get your £5 out, and you know, if you're good at cycling, get yourself over on the Rockingham Oval. I'll be there watching. Down on the back straight, it is Tinmouth that heads into Lodge Corner. Jenny Tinmouth it is that leads from Danny Murphy, and Murphy really closing in now on the Ellesmere Port rider. There's a big gap then back to third place man Kyle Wilkes, but Danny Murphy just trying everything he can to get that Kawasaki Superstock 1000 machine up close with Jenny Tinmouth, who's full of confidence after that first race win. Tinmouth can get herself into the top 3 of the championship, I'm sure, here with another win. Further back, that's Blake Walls having a good battle. We've got a rider down there. There's a bit of dust being kicked down. That's Kingsley Ruddy. Kingsley Ruddy is down into Cascades. It's a quick left-hander to go down on, and he's up, and he looks a bit dazed. In that first race, he actually inherited third in the Superstocks because Kieran Hankin ran into a technical infringement. But Kingsley, nice to see him up, and oh, that's a mistake there. And Danny Murphy outbrake Jenny Tinmouth, and Jenny was forced to sit up. She's gone straight through. Has she gone through? Well, it depends. If she's gone through and she's resumed in second place and there's no advantage gained, and she will be able to continue her race, but it remains to be seen as to whether she's up and close with Danny Murphy. That was a bit too close for comfort, that one, and there you go. Well, Jenny's not gained an advantage, so she's back with Danny Murphy. She fancied to look up the inside into Lodge Corner, not this time, as they go out of Lodge and over Deers Leap onto the start-finish straight. Well, I've got to tell you guys, in race 1, Jenny Tinmouth took the GP1 lap record, and she goes up underneath Danny Murphy here into turn 1. But Danny Murphy, on that last lap, just smashed the lap record here at Thundersport at Oulton Park with a 40.4. John Ingram is on the charge also. He's just, in fact, John Ingram has just taken Jenny Tinmouth's lap record away, so lap records are going all over the place. A bit of sun comes out and they all go mad. Jenny Tinmouth, well, what a move that was into turn 1, and clearly maybe angry with herself, or whether the move is a bit too close. Either way, she's caught up with Danny Murphy, she's passed Danny, and I think Danny might just be settling for second now, because he would still win the Superstock Championship race, and he'd still get 25 points for that. Further back, there is Matt Slate, number 100. He's in 13th place overall behind Blake Walsh. Chris Barnes is a bit further ahead of them, and Jody Lees, Angelo De Rosa, of course Barry Teasdale will be around that 7th or 8th region, bearing in mind he's got a 10-second penalty. But Jenny Tinmouth here is looking good for the double at Oulton Park. What a place to do it, her home race. Jenny is now going on to her last lap. She'll be in every single Thundersport round, with the exception, I think, of Anglesey, because it clashes with Cadwell BSB, but it depends, I suppose, on where she is in the championship with Thundersport, because with performances like this, she could be in a position to challenge the likes of Phil Crow and Baker and Ingram. Baker not here, so Baker's going to lose out on points big time. And this championship is really hotting up as we head into the second half of the season. Jenny doing a fine job. She was down in second, she had it all to do. She's got past Danny, she's looking comfortable, she's looking quick. Further back, the Superstocks. At the moment, obviously Danny Murphy would take the win ahead of Kyle Wilkes, but then it's anyone's guess who's going to take third. Because of that 10-second penalty, it's going to be a close run thing, and Jenny's over on the grass. She's outbraked herself again. A bit of motocrossing. She's back on the circuit. She didn't gain an advantage, so that's okay. Maybe that's just given Danny Murphy another go at it. So maybe a few nerves here for Jenny on the final lap of this race, and that has certainly pricked the ears up of Danny Murphy. He's not going to get anywhere near her though, because on this section Jenny is so quick. She takes the defensive line like a wise owl into Lodge Corner, and that will just about, well, phew. She's taken the win, but she'll be mighty relieved to see the checkered flag. Another win for Jenny Tinmouth. Oh, and that's a blowout across the line, and that's Ingram. John Ingram's engine is just given up, or at least it's given up right across the checkered flag, but he knows it already. He's pulled up. Well done, John. Look at it spewing out oil all over the place. Jenny Tinmouth takes the win. Danny Murphy second, but he wins the Superstock. Ingram just about crosses the line before his engine gives up the ghost, and then Wilkes in fourth. So Jenny Tinmouth wins ahead of John Ingram and Ian Mackman in the GP1s. Let's have a look at the Superstock podium. Danny Murphy taking the win ahead of Kyle Wilkes and Barry Teasdale. So the championship heading into Rockingham. Phil Crow leads, but only by 8 points ahead of Danny Murphy, and Tinmouth does move up to third ahead of John Ingram and Peter Baker.
Winner of the Superstock 1000 race, Danny Murphy. What a race between you and Jenny. It must have been a bit of relief as well for you when she went on the grass a couple of times.
Well, I got an all right start. Barry Teasdale got past me, and I just needed to try. I got past him on the first lap into Lodge, but Jenny had pulled a gap already, so I had to try and catch her up. So I got behind her, and it was a bit of a. I came from a long way back, so I was a bit sorry about the late last-minute move. She had to go straight on, but as soon as I passed Jenny about the lap after, I struggled with a bit of arm pump, which hindered me a little bit. Maybe I'd have been able to give her a little bit more of a battle at the end, but yeah, it was a good race.
Excellent. Any sponsors to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Mark from Long Controls and Hurst Property Management, Brinteg Holiday Home Park, Avon Compressors, Lisa from Day and Easy, for the Day and Easy Levers and RI Helmet. Dave Tully's, Dave Bostock from Mac Tools. I'm sure there's some others. The bike insurer for the pictures, and yeah, I think that. Oh, I'd like to thank K-Tech as well. Great after sales support. It's got us a good setup from here and for going forward. Thank you.
Well done, Danny. And first position in the GP1s, Jenny Tinmouth. Again, that was such a race between you and Danny. Tell us about the last few laps of the race.
Yeah, I was, when he got past me, I wanted to catch him back up and try and get past. Luckily just got him into Old Hull. And then I just thought he was going to be right on my tail and try and get me back. So I was just trying to go for it as best I could. And the last lap, I thought I'm just going to have to try and do a really good lap and just sort of break a bit late into his S's and got the back end went all light, and then I just got a bit sideways and just had to go onto the grass. So I thought I'd kind of thrown it away, but luckily just managed to stay on and get to the finish. So yeah, it was a good race, so good, enjoyable.
You managed to get a win. We'd seen you on the podium a couple of times over the year, but not yet a win. And this weekend you took a double win, so you must be over the moon with that result.
Yeah, absolutely over the moon. Oulton's my local round, so I got a lot of local people come to watch me as well. So it means a lot to get 2 wins. So yeah, I'm made up.
And any sponsors to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Max Glass and Glazing, everyone that's donated on racewithjenny.com, Peter Holland, Majestic Engineering, Silk Lean, Sherry Helmets, Steve my mechanic, mum and dad, and planet2d.com, Steve. So thanks very much.
Well done, Jenny. Thank you. Cheers.
3 down, 1 to go. Join us again after the break for the Van Insurer 600 Sportsman Elite. Welcome back to the final part of Thundersport Elite. Next up on circuit, the Van Insurer 600 Sportsman Elite. The sun is out. Andy Lawson is on the grid, hoping not to get a jump start this time. The Scotsman looking over at number 74, Curtis Wright. And what a race he put in right at the end. Last lap Larry, that's what we'll have to call him. Almost got the victory, but in the end it was the Formula 600 rider here, Craig Neve, that took the 50 points. It was double points in race 1. Not so here in race 2. Just lining up 4th on the grid late on there, number 193, Dale Thomas from Caerphilly in Wales. And it looks like we're just about ready to go for race 2 here at Oulton Park. The lights go on and then they go out. It's a good start from Andy Lawson again. Oh, he was playing with the idea there again, wasn't he, of getting off the line a bit earlier, but it was a better start from Daniel Freer, the championship leader. He may have lost big points and not finished race 1, but he's got the whole shot here down into Cascades. He leads ahead of Andy Lawson, who goes up the inside of Dale Thomas. Graham Freer is then in 4th place ahead of Lee Williams. As we look further back at number 8 there, it's Dan Stanton from Mould on the Stano Racing Yamaha. He's been having a decent weekend. Freer it is, though, that leads from Lawson. Dale Thomas in 3rd place, then Graham Freer before they tipped into the right-hander. Keep an eye out once more for Sam Cox. He came flying through the field. There's Craig Neve, look just up alongside Graham Freer. We see Sam Thompson again. And number 69 there is Ryan Dixon, Jake Dixon's cousin. Just a couple of places up ahead of Chris Helliwell, number 64. That's 18. Graham Freer just going around the outside and almost chopping the nose off Curtis Wright is Craig Neve. Just up ahead there of Richie McNeil, number 22, then 94, Lee Williams. A number of riders there. Look out for the reigning Thundersport 500 champion, mid-pack there, number 87. Adam Clark. I also saw number 40 Jamie Edwards a moment ago. Jamie pretty much knocked himself out back at Cadwell the last round. Nice to see him back. Freer it is that leads. A lot of speed being carried into the final turn there by Thomas. Dale Thomas in 2nd place though. And tipped into Lodge and then over the hill. Matthew Waldron is off to a decent start. He's fighting it out with the likes of Dixon and Lee Williams. Richie Connell is up there. Dylan Roberts is fighting for the points as well, along with Sam Cox. But it's Freer that leads from Thomas and Neve. Then Graham Freer in 4th place. There is Andy Lawson, 101. No jump start for him this time, but he's got his work cut out. Around the outside there, Thomas tries to go past Craig Neve, but it doesn't quite happen. But it's Daniel Freer that still leads. Daniel will be quite disappointed with what happened in race 1. He had a over 100-point lead coming into Oulton Park. Not finishing that first race, he's not really done his championship any favours. We see Dixon there just ahead of Sam Thompson, who he spoke to at the very start of the show, and then Richie Connell in the all-white leathers just behind him on the R6. It's Daniel Freer, Formula 600. Craig Neve second, Formula 600. Dale Thomas third, Superstock 600. Dale Thomas, who's new to riding, really, and that's Helliwell. Helliwell's going through the chicane. In fact, he's going almost flat out through the chicane. He's gained a couple of places there. And oh, good old Chris. We'll have words with him about that at Rockingham. And it's already coming up on the screen to say that Chris has got a 5-second penalty for cutting the chicane. You know, they'll find you out somehow, Chris. Nice try, nice try. As they exit Lodge Corner, come over the hill and across the line. This is a close race, but Daniel Freer still leads from Craig Neve and Dale Thomas. Further back there, you can see Richie Connell and Sam Thompson and Sam Cox, who did so well in that first race. Sam Cox is just struggling a bit further back down the field. There's a change, though, at the front. Craig Neve leads now ahead of Daniel Freer, and Daniel won't mind that too much because Craig hasn't been at every event. He's got to worry a little bit about Dale Thomas and Curtis Wright, though, because Curtis Wright is there, and we saw what happened in that first race. In the latter stages, Curtis Wright came flying through in the damp conditions and almost won it. There is 101, Andy Lawson, the Scotsman, ahead of an Irishman, Richie McNeil, and then number 94. That is the Suzuki of Lee Williams. Lee, his home grounds, he's from Liverpool. There's Craig Neve up ahead then of Freer, Thomas the Welshman, and then Curtis Wright. Curtis, who was battling away with Fraser Rogers, I think it was in the second Thundersport GB year of 2009 in the 125 GP class, got a few wins to his name. But Neve here is trying to break away from the pack. Daniel Freer in 2nd place, Dale Thomas the Welshman in 3rd. Then is Curtis Wright 4th. Oh, and this battle further back, that was getting a bit close between Lawson, McNeil and Lee Williams. Graham Freer there just in 5th place. Lawson just going through Old Hall Corner there. So further back, James Shaw from 19th on the grid. He's doing a decent job. Number 4 on the Kawasaki. 19th, he's up into 7th as a decent battle goes on there, and it almost turns really nasty and ugly. That was Liam Shelcock, number 30. Having a decent battle. Dale Thomas, how on earth has he stayed on that? A major tank slapper on the exit of Shell Oils. He's managed to stay on board. Well done, sir, as they go into the chicane. So that's Dan Freer ahead of Graham Freer. Thomas has lost a couple of places. I'd be pulling into pit lane and checking my trousers if I was Dale Thomas after that one. Real nasty one. But it's Neve that's away at the front. He's already building up quite an advantage. Curtis right there on the white Triumph in its order. That's Andy Lawson cutting the chicane. He's obviously outbraked himself. He's having a bit of trouble in this race at the moment. Further back, that's for the 55. Lee Shallcross from Manchester, and he's going straight through as well. And and another rider just ahead of him. So a lot of riders outbraking themselves in this race. Maybe they're all seeing what Chris Helliwell did earlier and thought, oh, might be able to take an advantage. Neve is already down into Lodge Corner. Dan Freer 2nd, Graham Freer 3rd, Dale Thomas 4th, Curtis Wright there in 5th place as they go over Deers Leap, and the last lap flag is out. Into turn 1, Neve can even afford a cheeky look over his shoulder there. He's raced very well. A 43.4 for Craig Neve is only a couple of tenths away from Luke Stapleford's Superstock lap record, but Neve is on a Formula 600 bike, so the lap record he's got to beat is by a certain Glenn Irwin, and that's not being beaten today. There's a good battle between the brothers going on here, Graham and Daniel Freer. Neve it is that leads, and this is the fight for 2nd. between the two Freers. You'd think that Graham Freer in front would let his brother through, bearing in mind he's leading the championship, but it doesn't look like there's going to be any brotherly love going on there. Dale Thomas is still ahead of Curtis Wright, the two riders on the Triumphs. We've lost Andy Lawson, he's gone AWOL. We saw him going through the chicane a moment ago, cutting it, but he's not gone past the line. So we know that Neve looks as though he's got 25 points in the bag. It's just down to this fight now between Graham and Daniel Freer. And Graham Freer has the advantage. There's Richie McNeil, who's in 6th place. He's come on strong towards the end of it. Further back, that's Dylan Roberts, number 191, almost running out of tarmac. He's having a good fight there with Adam Clark. That's for the remaining point. In 15th place, they're just ahead of Richie Connell, but it's a decent win here for Craig Neve. I'll be interested to see how far up the championship this has lifted him, because he started the weekend in 10th and he'd only attended one round. Across the line, 25 points for Craig Neve. A great win for him. And then in 2nd place, it is Graham Freer that beats his brother Dan. Well, that will go down well. Dale Thomas takes a decent 4th place and wins the Superstock 600s ahead of Curtis Wright. Richie McNeil is in 6th ahead of James Shaw, Lee Williams, Matt Waldron and Ryan Dixon. So the surprise there is the fact that Graham finished ahead of Daniel. There they are then on the Formula 600 podium, a happy Craig Neve. And then the Superstock podium, Thomas, Wright and James Shaw. Let's have a look then at the points heading into Rockingham. Daniel Frew it is that still leads ahead of Lee Williams and then Sam Thompson, and Craig Neve, he goes from 10th to 4th. Look out, everyone.
Superstock 600 winner, Dale Thomas. A good race for you there, and you managed to fight off Curtis, who won the first race.
Yeah, I had a good start. I managed to get into the first bend, I think 3rd. And halfway through the race, I did manage to pass Dan. And I had a big moment coming out of Shell Oils, and I lost to Dan and I think Graham as well. And then Curtis came by me, but I just got my head down, got past and managed to take the win.
The win. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank Vance John from Fast Rads, Kurt who helps us out, and just my mum, my dad and everyone who supports us.
Well done, we hope to see you on the podium again.
Thank you.
And winner for the 2nd time, Craig Neve, managed to fight off the Freer brothers there.
Yeah, really enjoyable race. Just got out in front, just kept looking at the board and just doing enough, I think.
Definitely. Well, you got the win. Any sponsors to thank?
Yeah, Dave Jarrett, LEW Wholesalers, Pete Dalton at Silkaleen, Andy Jones at Cycle Mode, Francis West at Water Lane Clinic. Sorry for missing you off earlier on. Cheers.
Well done.
Well done to you, Craig. Well, that's it from us here at Oulton Park. Next up for us is Rockingham. From myself, Steve Day, and from Grace Webb down in pit lane. We'll see you then.